So kind of what would be our normal Tuesday, and I thought I'm sure you guys saw it too, just a vast improvement in energy, enthusiasm, physicality in practice today. Got a little feisty, which isn't always a bad thing. And it was really because the scout team was giving such a great look, and that's what makes you better as a football team, when you can get such a good look from the scout team. The offensive players can get frustrated, or the defensive players can get frustrated. So that was positive, but very typical when you come off of some days off. Like we said yesterday, you can just be maybe a little bit off. I thought today was a lot cleaner practice. Just the energy of everybody involved, coaches, players, I thought was much improved, and it was a good practice. We obviously have things to clean up, and that's what we'll come back and do tomorrow. But all in all, I was pleased with it. I think we've gotten 2 really good days of work in coming off the days off, and now the next couple of days we really need to sharpen this thing up.
What did you think of the way Juju kind of tried to diffuse the situation after the little brawl when he caught the ball and then he put his hands up as if to fight?
Well, I think that Juju has got a lot of cool characteristics about him. That he's got an infectious attitude, a contagious attitude, and he loves being out here practicing. He loves his teammates. And I think the guys respect his work ethic. And so, when they see him able to kind of have some fun with it, I think it makes everybody kind of, calm back down a little bit and focus on what we need to do.
What, as a coach, you're schooled on how to call plays and all that kind of stuff, but when you're dealing with personal situations, how has that kind of evolved for you, and how do you
that's, I think it got asked yesterday about what was it like when you first became a head coach, 7 years ago. And you think you're ready, you think you're ready to be a head coach, and you see the head coaches that you've worked for and how they've handled different scenarios and different situations. But then all of a sudden you become a head coach and it's live bullets, right? I mean, here they come, and it's different, issues, whether it's on the field, whether it's playing time, whether it's at school, whether it's a guy getting in trouble off campus. And I think you initially you go with your gut, Gary, until you can start to figure out, who am I as a disciplinarian to some degree, or who am I as a leader, who am I as a coach, how am I going to mentor these guys, how am I going to help this young man through this rough patch. And then as you start to stockpile those things, they're like bricks upon bricks. When a similar situation comes up, you can go back and lean on that experience and not necessarily handle it the exact same way, but I can use a piece of that or a piece of this, and this worked for me last time, and you just start to develop that over time. And so now, 7 years into this thing, I've built up enough stuff that I think I can lean on some things, and plus experience as an assistant, that you see how your head coaches that you work for handle it.
So about last year, going into the season, you had stated a goal of about 80 plus plays per game, and you guys are at 66 right now. Is that a cause for concern at all, or what do you think about that stat?
Because I look at our average yards per play. We're averaging 8.1 yards per play. We're getting yards in chunks, which going into this season was a huge goal, that we wanted to get bigger plays, be a more explosive offense. And so, sure, would I love to run 80 plays? Of course, but I don't want to sacrifice the explosiveness of our team, which we have right now. And sorry, not to cut you off, Scott. And I think the better we get at third down, which again, last week we were 10 of 16 on third down. If we can continue to build on that, we're up to 43%, I think, on the year. If we can get that up to near 50, that'll get us more plays as well.
You've always talked about how, as a head coach, you've had a 1,000-yard rusher each year. Does it feel better at all to have balance in that stat right now, or 3
Yeah,
guys?
I mean, I like it. I think it keeps us fresh right now. I think there's going to come games where we're going to start to lean on a couple of them or one of them, depending on how the game goes. But as of right now, they're all doing a good job. They're all executing when they get their numbers called. So I have a hard time arguing with it.
Jim Mora expressed his displeasure with the weeknight games last night. They've got 2 of them coming up. You play Thursday, obviously, and then the Friday at Colorado. Where do you sort of weigh in on these weeknight
I mean,
games?
it's twice a year. It's not, to me, it's not as big of a deal. I mean, when you look at other sports like basketball or baseball, and that travel so much, for us, it's a day of school, maybe 2 days of school, a day and a half, whatever it is. You have one home game. We have guys that are going to take finals Thursday, or midterms on Thursday, we're going to be at our hotel. They're going to come back to campus, take a midterm, and come back to the hotel with us. So, we deal with it, but I think it's great exposure for our conference. It's great exposure for our university. So, I don't have as much of an issue. we're into midterms now, where I know, Jim, they're dealing with the start of school. We're already into midterms. We've been in school for 2 months now.
Khalil Rogers, didn't see him.
Yeah, I think we'll get him back today. You know, again, he had something personal. He had to go home. The flight situation was a little dicey getting back, but we should get him back today is what the plan is.
We asked you yesterday while the games were going on. Now that you look back, you got to see all the things that
college
happened
football's crazy. It's a lot going on, and I kind of was chuckling last night and then into this morning. You know, I had the TV on at the end of all those games, and then, you know, had Sports Center, some different shows on this morning, and everybody's now got their new top 4, and everybody's got their new poll. How do you know? I mean, next week it's going to be another new 4, and I know they need it, and you guys need to write about it, and TV needs it for content and entertainment, but man, there's a lot of football left to be played. And, you know, I don't know where Ohio State was at this point last year, but geez, there's a lot of football left to be played. And so I know it's fun for everybody to make a top 25 or put their, you know, who they think their Final Four is going to be. There's just a lot of football left, and so I kind of chuckle at it. And you know, I think as we get to late November, things start to become a reality. And even then, that's not going to hold true, because we got to get into early December, because a lot of things can happen.
Do you take any lessons out of
we get them both.
Oh, go ahead. Do you take any lessons out, like yesterday, and you say, college
football?
Well,
I think this about college football. One, you have to, you know, for us, as we use the term, you have to sharpen your sword every day, you know, and we have to sharpen our sword every day to get better. And you have to come prepared to play every Saturday. There's too much parity in college football right now that if you don't come prepared to play and you're not ready to go, and your opponent is, anybody can beat anybody, or at least you're going to be in a dogfight at the end. And whether it's you're the number 1 or number 2 teams in the country, or the number 6, number 7, or whatever you are, you have to put your best foot forward. And that's the challenge as a coach, and that's a challenge as a team, of recreating that every single week, and doing it for the, you know, for the regular season, and then hopefully into the postseason as you work your way through it.
Yeah, along those lines, I was wondering, is part of your message to the team to not pay attention to the results on a week-to-week basis of your opponents?
No, I mean, I like our guys to be fans of college football. I am. I mean, believe me, I watch this Thursday night games as much as I can, or the mornings or the evenings, whatever our games are. So I like them to watch the games. I don't like them getting caught up looking at the scoreboard of rankings. Just like when we're playing a game, I don't like them getting caught staring at the scoreboard. The scoreboard shouldn't determine how we play in the game, and the rankings shouldn't determine how we prepare and how we play. It should be what we want to do and who we are, and what we want to produce on the field. So that's the message I give them. But I want them to be fans of college football. I think, like I said, I'm one of the biggest fans, if not the biggest, and I love our sport.
Okay.
Alrighty, guys.